So we are in a new location called Creative Labs. It is in Westport, St. Louis. It is a space that is built for creatives to do things like this, what we're doing right now, which is podcasting. So if you are in the need of a space to use or utilize for your creative needs, that could be from podcasting, it could be from music, it could also be from content creation, streaming, any of those things. Yeah, photography, videography. Heck, in the future, we'll probably even have painting as well. So the point is anything creative adjacent or creative within it, within that space, this is perfect for you. So please come down. We have a website you can go to called Creative Labs, creativelabsinfo.com. You can check us out. Click on the calendar. You can book a tour and sit down and talk to us and see if things work out. All right. So we back, y'all.
Yeah.
we definitely back at a slightly different location than before. Mm-hmm. You might see we're missing a member, but that member is still
a member.
Yep, and part of what we call Musing Around. So we welcome everyone. Absolutely. Welcome to Musing Around. And today we got
special guest.
Yeah.
I'm Ashley Booker.
Go ahead.
I'm April Burton.
Let's go.
It's your boy Jay over here. So we're going to jump straight into things. It's been a while, so we'll just jump into it.
Yeah, I think we jump into one thing. All right, new location.
Yeah.
What?
Bro.
Ooh,
what is this place?
I know.
I don't even
what
know.
Is it? Yeah, okay. So
the furniture is still the same.
It is the same.
We moved the set somewhere else.
That is true. The furniture is the same. Mostly the same setup. Slight differences. So we are in a new location called Creative Labs. It is in Westport, St. Louis. It is a space that is built for creatives to do things like this, what we're doing right now, which is podcasting. So if you are in the need of a space to use or utilize for your creative needs, that could be from podcasting, it could be from music, it could also be from content creation, streaming,
photography,
any of those things. Yeah, photography, videography. Heck, in the future, we'll probably even have painting as well. So the point is anything creative adjacent or creative within it, within that space, this is perfect for you. So please come down. We have a website you can go to called Creative Labs, creativelabsinfo.com. You can check us out. Click on the calendar. You can book a tour and sit down and talk to us and see if things work out. So we started a business within a business of a business.
Look at us, man.
Look at y'all. I mean, it's big things. I mean, coming here, the space is immaculate.
Yeah.
It's vibey. It is. There's different rooms, different energies, different vibes.
Yeah.
Bro, you can switch it up. I mean, this is only one of your small spaces of like many.
Yeah.
So that's super cool.
Yeah, no, it offers a lot of versatility, I would say. And then even what you see, like how we have this today of the set, like you'll see this change, right? So
absolutely,
this won't be the final. We just decided to kind of go back to the roots of this podcast,
which as we should. I think the green couch is just synonymous.
Yeah, it is.
With
musing around.
Yeah, no, it is. It's just music.
Part of the logo too. So not the couch, but the color.
the color, yeah.
So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it to the whole brand and all that, But yes, we are in Creative Labs in Westport. And honestly, yes, everything Jay said is right. Mm-hmm. Go to the website, click it, boom.
Yeah.
Set up a tour. Yeah. We'll meet one of us and we'll have a great time.
Yeah. And if you're trying to get more information of like an overview, we're there to give you an overview too. So
anything you guys need, even in comments, we'll answer. Yes.
Yep. All of that. So let's we got that out the way, which is good. We have to stop and like just go through that. But feel remiss if we didn't. But let's start musing.
All right. Well, it's so many things to muse about because it's so long since we did it last time. But do y'all want to hit some of the greatest hits like in the recent weeks of like should we start with the Super Bowl?
We can go so far. Yes, let's go.
So we want to start with Super Bowl. Wait. We starting with Super Bowl. How do we feel about it from numerous angles or just?
Yeah, like the game, the halftime show.
Okay. Yeah, let's start. Dang, yeah. Man, Thomas need to give his input on this. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Good. I'm here for it. This is a Jason.
We're here for it.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
I will say that I was shocked.
About
I was
what?
shocked on the game. And
overall?
This is overall. This is obviously late coming, like a late hot take, right?
Mm-hmm.
But super shocked on the game because I was not expecting the blowout that happened. Like, like I live in Portland, but family's here in Missouri. I know everybody's rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kind of.
Kind of.
What?
I was going for Eagles, but
I was going for the Chiefs. Let's go.
I still thought that.
Louis to the...
So wait. You Rams?
It's
LA Rams?
It's messed up as it
Dang.
is. Yes.
Dang.
That's a shocker.
Sorry, guys. I mean, the ownership, it doesn't dictate. The
fan for life
did that. I didn't.
We got the best fans here.
Bro.
Even when the team stabs you, we still go for it.
But then
I'm like a little kid in the room. But
I was like also so excited to see Jalen Hurts be on that stage. And just like he's just been playing amazing season.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely needed to have this moment. Didn't know that they was gonna take them out. And everyone I think thought that the the Kansas City Chiefs were gonna be the underdogs. Definitely not. I thought Eagles were truly the underdogs.
I have to kind of push back. It's their defense. Philly's defense. Jalen Hurts is great.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
He's not Mahomes, but he's great. I'll go on the record and say that he's not Mahomes, but he's great. And the thing is that he's great game manager.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to make mistakes. But I don't know if if it was just put on his shoulders to win the Super Bowl, I don't know if they would have done that. I just know that their defense was ferocious the entire year. Yeah. It's just their team was just, to me, better than the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Kansas City Chiefs had all the hype. Great. But Philadelphia Eagles were a better team.
Yeah.
By far, actually.
Yeah. And I think that the Chiefs are a little bit complacent this year. That's my read on it. It was that they expected to win and they came in with that energy.
Well, I think that people kind of don't think about the age, not of Mahomes, of the tight end and the superstardom and all the things that go along with it.
Are we talking about Travis Kelce?
Oof.
He said, "You gonna go there?" I wasn't, but you gonna go there.
No, but that is it. I mean, I think between Travis and Taylor and their relationship, and
how did you feel like? Because we haven't really talked about this. How did it come across to you with Taylor being a part of football and NFL?
I don't like it.
Ooh,
yeah.
Hot take.
I'm a music person.
Is it at this point though? I don't know if it's a hot take, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but
because
I feel like a lot of people, it's very polarizing the viewpoints, but there's the good number of people that agree with you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, do you guys feel like it increased viewership? Because that's what I was reading.
It did,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think it brought a different crowd that probably wouldn't normally watch into watching it for various different reasons, or made it cool, like, oh, I'm sitting down with my man to watch the game. Not to say that didn't exist before, but I think it kind of put a new little lens on things. But I would say this: I was disheartened by the game. The blowout was real. By the umpteenth touchdown, I was kind of like, yeah, this is kind of got I know how this is going to end. I was happy at one point that we just got some points on the board, so it wasn't like a complete blowout. Now, if that would have happened, that would have been, I don't think, has that even happened in history?
That I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know the stats on that.
Bro, they was not even at 6 by Q3?
No, they had I think they had a touchdown by then.
Maybe.
I think by halftime, they didn't have anything, if I'm not mistaken. But,
it was looking rough.
It was bleak. And I would say this though, I think Mahomes did what he could in that situation. I think his offensive line definitely, I would say there was a lot of opportunity for us in that game for the offensive line. And I'm not saying Eagles didn't have a good defense, because they did.
The defense is ferocious.
It was. But at the same time, it's like, outside of just running every single play, it's only so much you could do if they getting past your line. Like, or else you just throwing a little bit faster, which you saw Mahomes adjust towards the end, and you saw like us, catch some long passes. He'll throw some long passes. We complete it. He saw us like turn around, make some quick touchdowns. At that point, I don't know if the Eagles is like, look, we just don't let y'all just get a couple points.
I think at that point, all right, we already got the game.
Right, exactly.
Bro, after those, like the first touchdown.
We're messing with spreads.
If that was one day you was thinking about the spreads, I was like, the spreads is real. Because they just let us score. But overall, I was a little disappointed, but this will sound jacked up. I was just happy to see both of those teams play and in the Super Bowl. I was happy to see both teams there. Yeah. Even though I was rooting for the Chiefs, the Eagles winning didn't make me upset or mad. And I would say that it was kind of like that rematch from before, obviously. I was just happy to see the Eagles get one W. You know what I'm saying? We won it more than a couple of times. So we had something to spread around from that degree.
I guess my only pushback to that would be is that I want to see Mahomes do something different than Brady. I did.
Yeah.
Deep down inside, even though I know Brady is like he's MJ
he's the GOAT.
in football.
He's the GOAT.
But the thing is that if he would have accomplished that, we would definitely have a debate.
Yeah, no, facts. Facts.
Yeah.
It's never been done.
Right.
Yeah.
Never been done.
Never been done.
So like, with that part, we didn't get to really witness that history, but still yet, I don't know. I really didn't have a pony in the race.
Yeah. I understand.
To be fair.
Yeah.
I did. Jalen Hurts, I was rooting for you, baby.
Listen,
I was like, this is
sure
yours.
Most women were.
Yes.
Listen, I feel like Jalen Hurts and Mahomes is on different opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of like, who was going for what? You know what I mean?
Wait. I'm confused. Are you saying
what are we saying?
Well, I'm saying this like this.
Let's unpack this.
Politically as well as
facts.
Facts. And I'm not going to deep dive into their political views as much as politically who favored who. You know what I mean? I just think like it wasn't a big division, but it was definitely some words that went around.
But I also think Jalen Hurts made it very like his just energy, like how he came in through the tunnel and all the stuff, his fits, all the stuff. He was like very much Black History Month. And he was very much like
he was like the 90s. Like,
bro, 90s,
I saw one of his
90s.
fits. He had the
straight 90s, bro.
Yeah, he had and the pants tucked in, you know what I'm saying, to the slacks. 90s, I was like, ooh, okay, that was
bro. But that's what the energy is over in Europe right now.
Yeah.
But I would say like even like him dating a Black woman, all the stuff, like it felt like, and then him being managed by a Black woman and like all women in his leadership team that's managing him and doing all his deals.
Yeah.
It was just different energy. And I think that the culture loved it.
Hey, I'm going to tell you someone who was prepared for that. Nike, bro. When that commercial hit, I was like, good gosh.
What was it like? What was it? Love Hurts?
Hey, it kind of felt a little bit
hate
like
Hurts or something.
Yeah, but it kind of felt a little bit like shall I say, good segue, Kendrick Lamar versus somebody. I don't know about that commercial.
He went there.
Listen, that commercial hit. I was like, dang, man.
That was a good one.
Dang, man. I don't know. They had little jabs on that commercial. I'm not saying they poked someone's eyes out. I'm just saying it was a good jab. It was a good jab.
But like on that subject though, like Nike did some dope commercials that night. Like I remember the women's one. Yeah, I was like, that was fire too.
Yeah, no, yeah. They had some good ones. I like the Jalen Hurts one a lot.
Yeah,
I thought it was good timing.
I
thought it was nice. It was nice. It was good.
It was good.
But let's segue into halftime show.
Halftime show.
I made the connection of Jalen Hurts and Kendrick Lamar.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But let's segue into halftime. What do we think of the halftime show?
Well, I want to hear what y'all think because y'all are music.
Oh shit!
I mean, at this point,
like y'all are producers doing
listen,
big things.
I think at this point, anyway, everyone has an opinion. Yeah,
it's Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah, it's your opinion just as much as weighted as ours in this.
Well,
yeah,
I would say, like from my perspective, like straight up, I thought it was fire. I thought it was like It was for the culture. It was like, if you know, you know. Mm-hmm. If you didn't, you was trying to look it up and you was trying to figure out the lyrics and you was trying to figure out the symbolism and all the stuff. But I think the thing about it is that it kind of came out like his album, and I thought his album was fire, Gen X.
Not great.
And I was like, unexpected, but what the culture needed in the moment that it needed it. And there's so many deep cuts on that album that I was like super pumped. But I love Kendrick. I've loved Kendrick forever. So like, I mean, not to mention this man's a Pulitzer Prize, like, you know, like he's got the chops, like his pen is strong. So I was always gonna be like rooting for him. But then when he came out and he just leveled it up, I felt like he kind of like with the choreography, like you don't get to see hip hop artists have that much choreography.
Yeah.
I thought that was fire. And like I felt like he just expanded what he could do and like what rappers can do on that stage. So I thought that was fire.
Interesting.
I'm not even talking about like the real beefs.
No.
There's
so many different ways we can unpack this. I'm gonna ask a question. This might stir the pot or not. Do you feel like his show connected with everyone?
No.
What do you think, Ash?
No. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Obviously not.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Look, Kendrick Lamar is literally goated. I think he's like one of the best that I've ever seen or ever witnessed. All right.
He's nice. Yeah.
I mean, he's nice.
Yeah.
When it came down to the show.
I want to hear this take.
I thought that he could have included more. I thought he had more versatile records. I think that honestly, that to go back to Jay's point, I think that would have connected more with the bass. I mean, we're at the Super Bowl, so now I appreciate the fact that he didn't care. Huh?
What bass?
I would just say
listeners of
listeners that
all
are
of urban music.
You know, people who may not be completely all the way tuned in to the immediate culture, because he leaned into Gen X. He leaned into that album, and I think that like leaning into that album, you're doing a disservice to the broad audience that you do have for the Super Bowl. You do have a broad, broad audience, meaning that like he has broad hits. He does. He is Kendrick Lamar for a reason. Right. Like he has songs that connect with everyone. He does.
Yeah.
He does.
He leaned into Gen X for a reason, and I understand his reason. I get it. Not mistaken. I'm just saying for Super Bowl halftime, I think he could have kind of went in his bag a little bit deeper, pulled some songs out. Also included, records that may have, maybe connected with more people, but on.
I'm surprised that Ashley is like so politically correct on this time. I'm like, you're usually on a different side of the spectrum.
Hey, hold on, where the glasses at? No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I would just say this is that is what I would say. But okay, it's just a producer, his rapping over the tracks, his choreography, the message behind the whole show, amazing. Everything was a 10. The last part where I was like, man, but I'm also, I guess, your point actually works better because right now, if you look at the top charting and streaming albums right now, it's all him. It's people trying to figure out what he was saying.
Yeah.
So therefore, at the end of the day, maybe it was just all 10s.
Yeah.
All wins.
Yeah, I would say this. I would agree with you in this regard. First off, let me give a disclaimer. I like Kendrick Lamar. I like his music. His first album to me is his best. Not that.
No, it is.
It's not that there's not other deep cuts that are
classic.
They're classic too. But
instant
for me,
no, it's the instant classic.
Good Kid, Mad City is just
instant classic.
Man, it's just so for me when I say that, and for the record, I like Drake too. But I'll say that too. I was looking. Nah, I sound politically correct.
Yeah,
but I was looking. But I just want to say, like, because we're gonna get into some other stuff too. I would say, I would agree with you in the sense of I was expecting more cuts from his first album.
Correct.
And I was just like, man, because when you think of, look, Kendrick has some nice classic songs, but a lot of them that I would say a wider spread of people knows comes from that first album. Not to disagree that other people don't know his music, but I think that for me personally, maybe I'm wrong in this. I feel like more audience, the wider spread audience.
No, you're not wrong.
Probably knows Good Kid, Mad City more than they know.
That's a fact.
The second joint, the third joint. You know what I'm saying? So like,
damn,
it's a joint.
I know, but I'm saying the album, damn, and Mr.
Morale. He did do
you know, he did the one from Black Panther.
He
did the Black Panther was probably the broadest record he did.
But he could have did, even though I know he was on the Super Bowl halftime show for Dr. Dre now, but like he should have done like, you know, we gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Like Pimp Butterfly.
Okay.
We could have done some.
He got Pimp Butterfly. He could have did that. He just had a whole bunch of. He has records right now that from his first two albums that float on social media like 24/7. Not trying to say what the one song he did do that was very relevant, obviously, was a song we know. You know what I'm saying?
Which one? Are you talking about like, oh, sorry. I'm going back to like Be Humble and all the stuff that he did.
No, he did do Be Humble.
And I felt like he only did really in his bag. He was only in his bag for like 2 cuts off of GNX. It was like Turn the TV Off, Luther, and then the other one, the main one that was the cut, was not on Gen X. That was on.
I understand.
That was just like the beef, you know?
Come on, though.
Yeah.
But I'll say
led
this.
to Gen X.
Yeah.
Let me tell you
this. It was a lead single for Gen X.
Yeah, come on now.
No,
exactly.
it was not even a lead single. It was
no, I'm talking.
It led into him dropping. It led him to. It was like the promo.
Yes, but I
not saying that's why he did it, but you know.
But I would say that
who knows.
For me,
you wear the glasses at, man.
Like, I felt like Gen X was so important coming out of the political situation that happened, like with the election and all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like the culture was kind of like confused and like needing something, and needing something to like be like a reflection of like who we are in this moment and like how we feel about certain shit that was happening. And I felt like he touched on a lot of stuff in that album of like the relevancy of like being for the culture, but also understanding like his place in hip hop and what he's called to do in hip hop. I thought that was incredible because he's like, hey, listen, I'm taking on this baton that I didn't really want, and now I'm gonna do it because I feel like hip hop has to stay relevant. And that goes to a bigger conversation that we can have about beef and all that stuff. But like, I felt like he kind of made a stamp on that. And it was like, it was almost like a throwaway album of like, you could tell it wasn't like Mr. Morale or the first one and all that stuff. But it was like what the culture needed. And I feel like he capitalized off of that. And it was just like for the culture.
I feel like all of his albums have really done that, except for... Yeah, I feel like all of them.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like this one was just like, it met the moment to me. And that maybe that's where I'm at. But I would say that like back to the like Super Bowl part, it was like, and maybe I read it wrong because I'm on a different coast, but West Coast is so heavy for Kendrick. Like so heavy for Kendrick that like what he's been doing recently, even with like the beef with Drake and all the stuff, like, and just putting on other artists and like having them at his spot and like taking up his space and time when he's on the limelight and he's on the stage. I thought that was so dope that like, that he's like an artist that people like other artists look up to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Okay, dang, that puts me want to spiral down because I instantly think of the comparisons to who he was beefing with. But I would say this. I want to say this for the record. I do think overall it was a great show. Mm-hmm. I just wish that I wanted to selfishly hear more cuts from Good Kid, Mad City. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear more joints from that. But speaking of which,
we're avoiding a big subject, so
so
I feel like we've been dancing around.
Well, we've been if we look at our plate of food, we've been enjoying our side courses
and the main dish
to get to the main dish. But let's speak on like obviously what song did he perform?
Okay,
They Not Like Us.
Yep.
Okay, and which is an amazing song.
Yeah.
It just
yeah. Like,
but look,
if you like rap beef, then you know what it is.
This is the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna literally just sit here and act like what has Drake meant to the thing we call culture for the last like how long?
Hey,
for 15 years.
And look, and that's what I was about to say.
Years.
Come on now. I was about to say that like,
what is he not meant to it? Honestly,
come on now.
Him.
That's a good.
All
is a good
these people being entangled in this beef, I felt like the summer was boring.
Personally, that's interesting. Wasn't a lot of dance records besides one.
What?
Not Like Us, or
I mean, Not Like Us. It's like it's still like I get it. You're West Coast derivative, so therefore you get it. You feel it more, but I get it too because I love it.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is that for everyone else. That's what they vibe. That's what their tempo.
Let me say this.
I think it was a good song, but yeah.
I would say this.
The West is never like the thing, and this is going to be controversial.
click,
but honestly, but seriously, like the West sound is its own. And I have only seen rare times in history where everybody accepts it. Honestly, like even back when it was at the height, it was still being pushed back upon by the East and by Southern sound. It was always kind of pushed back. It's 100%. Never the sound of the whole United States.
I understand what you're saying.
Right. Correct. And I think that there's so many, like, I think this is a cool topic because there's so many different layers to this. And so I have to give you that.
The boy from Canada, though, make things for the whole...
But this is where it goes into the beef, like, I think.
And he also,
the whole country.
I will say this, because you made a note, and I'm not, what you said was correct with Kendrick did recently. But I would say put the beef aside for a second between both of them and look at like what Drake has done for up and coming artists, right? Just in general, right? And if you think about it, I was being real. Look. This ain't getting in the back and forth. This is just speaking to like what we've seen.
Back and forth. Let's go.
No, we need to.
We can get there. But I feel like Drake has definitely put on a lot of artists by jumping on some of their songs. I'm not saying he doesn't benefit off of jumping on some rising talents. You know what I'm saying? It's coming up, but it's one thing to be at the cusp, right? But not breaking through. And it's another thing to jump on a record with a monster artist and all of a sudden you bigger than life and you broken through. And like, if you rewind back, look, you had Kendrick going on tour with Drake. You had J. Cole going on tour with Drake, right?
A$AP Rocky.
I don't think that,
Rocky.
Like,
come on, like
no. See, but this is where I think that people get it misinterpreted.
Yeah,
like, I think that Drake has his place. For sure.
You
can't talk about Drake. Listen, again, I always preface this and say, like, I'm not a producer. I'm not in the music.
That don't matter.
But I'll tell you from my perspective.
Your opinion matters more.
Yeah, because you
it does.
Because I'm like outside of the culture. Well, I'm in the culture. Listen.
Yeah, you're totally in the culture. Don't play us.
But right. But like, this is what I would say. Like,
don't play us.
Just my 2
cents.
Play
the audience. Like, get out of here.
No,
you know the culture.
I listen to classical music.
No, but I would say this, that like Drake, there's a place for him, but I feel like what Kendrick is saying, like I would say this, Drake is pop, like all day. Like I feel like Drake comes in and he is not a lyricist. I would never say he was a lyricist.
I had to push back on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
He's one of the best ever. Have you ever?
I wouldn't say he's not a lyricist.
I'm saying lyricist, like writer, like he's.
I wouldn't say that either.
I'm giving my opinion. Then I'm gonna say.
He's
not like he was never.
Give me your opinion, please.
when I heard him in the beginning, I was never like, dag, Drake is like so fire with the flow, like all this stuff. Like I never compared him to Tupac or like some of the greats.
So for you, his lyrics,
he was never like a Nas. He was never Jay-Z to me. He was never like any of those.
Would you say he was not a rapper's rapper?
I would say that like, yeah, like I mean, and I love Lil Wayne. Like I love like.
Oh, we throwing shots. Not playing. I'm joking.
I love hip hop. But what I would say is that, like, I always felt like, because I watched him before he was into rap, right? Like, I watched him on the show, Degrassi and all this stuff. So it felt like he was playing a character always to me. Like, he came into the game to me like he was playing a character. And I thought it was cool because I was like, this is a vibe. Like, cool, yeah, you was on the show and like that's what I knew you from, and then you started rapping and then like we didn't know you could flow like that. That's what's up. That's cool. And it was always fun and exciting, and it was like, okay, pop, like in the sense that like at the time I felt like rap was a little bit heavier and he kind of brought some like lightness to that. And I think it was around the same time where Kanye was like old Kanye, and he was starting to go in a different direction, transition, and like I feel like Drake filled that space of old Kanye, not comparing him to Kanye, but like saying like Kanye had all those deep cuts, right? Like he was on everybody's tracks and everybody was on his track, and he had like, you know, he had that crossover appeal. He was with Katy Perry, all these things. Drake had that same crossover appeal with Rihanna in the beginning and all these super pop stars. And I felt like, dang, this dude is like cool. But he was just very current and very trendy. That's what I felt like. And so now as he's evolved, I felt like, yes, he's evolved in a way that is like dope, but I would never compare him to like some of the people that I think are like
Kendrick,
like J. Cole, like even a Kanye, even a Jay-Z, even a Nas. I wouldn't compare them to them. I think he has his own place, but it's more like okay, this is what's gonna go crazy.
This your take. It's cool.
This is gonna go crazy. Like, I think Taylor Swift is I'm enjoying her more.
What?
And I love 1989, that album. Fire. But let me tell you this. Like, I'm enjoying her more. But I cannot ever say that she's a Beyonce. Like, never, ever. So this is how I feel about Drake. Like, Drake is, like, cool. And he's always going to get the party started. He's always going to keep the party going. He's always going to have these cuts, these super cuts. He's going to be on everybody's album. But he's never going to be my, like, bro, this is Drake.
Okay. At first, I thought you was going to say Drake, you like Taylor Swift more than Drake. I was like, dang, boy.
No, but I feel like he's a Taylor Swift.
It's so hot. I'm like, oh my god, these mics are sizzling.
I feel like he's a Taylor Swift of hip hop.
Dang, woo!
And that's no shade.
No. Look.
No shade. No.
Listen, what I appreciate is you're just a listener of hip hop, right, and of music, and you giving your take. That's just what it is. Ultimately, none of us in this room decides what people are really going to listen to forever. 100%. So it's just a take of what it is. But what do you think, Ash?
Okay, I think that I think you're right with your take.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, no, I'm not pushing back that.
Ash agrees,
but I will say this though.
Ash, Drake, what is today? We're gonna have to write this date down.
Yeah, maybe it's something with the astrology. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's the lights.
But I could definitely tell you this. Maybe it's in the location.
Creative vibe.
It is.
A new flow.
It is.
It's making me neutral. But all jokes aside, I would say this is that I would say Drake is literally one of the best lyricists, best songwriters, best artists that we've ever seen. And I'm going to tell you why. I've never in my life seen an artist stay relevant as long as Drake. Never. And I mean, honestly, like we can talk about J. Cole, who drops when he feels like it. We can talk about Kendrick, who drops when he feels like it. But we're talking about a person who's fed the culture year after year after year after year. And you got to understand, it's a different kind of muscle you got to have for that. Mm-hmm. It's just different. I understand. Look, even right now, if you really, my hot take is the reason why Kendrick has all that is because of Drake. If he doesn't diss Drake, is he a Super Bowl? Fuck no. Let's just be honest. If this beef does not happen and it doesn't get the national, because he dropped an album before that, Mr. Morale, all that. Facts. Nobody talked about it. Yo, does he sweep the Grammys? Does he go to Super Bowl? Does he do any of that? Without Drake, without mentioning Drake's name, does he do that?
I agree with that.
I would say he doesn't, only because he's not in that lane. And this is what I'm saying.
What's that lane? What?
Pop
just
culture.
Everyone?
No, I think it's like pop culture. And this is where I'm saying like he's more pop than like hip hop.
But what's pop?
See, but okay.
But what's pop?
Pop is like popular. Like
that's it.
Trending.
So
this is what I'm saying. Current
Tupac
trend
was pop. No, because he was popular.
Yeah.
You can say Biggie was pop.
Yeah.
He was popular.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. You can go down the list of all these artists and we think they're like these incredible MCs, but they're really just pop rappers.
I would say this. When you think about Tupac, right? And the time frame he was in, right? He was not hardcore West Coast.
But I'm not saying even that. But
I'm not saying he didn't have no joints. What I'm trying to express is
what is California Love?
He floated the same way Drake floated. He floated.
But I think that
I agree. California Love is just
and he's in what? An actor?
Yeah. I'm about to say
he's an actor. But this is what I would say is different.
Drake's
is
an
that
actor.
Yeah, but
he's
the topics that Tupac was covering. This is where I diverge from you guys and say I think that there was more to that popular is because he was saying shit that was irreverent. He was saying shit that was like on some deeper shit, and he was not afraid of that shit to go there and
but he had a right to do it though.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes look, and I'm not trying to speak because I'm not I'm not like Drake. I'm not in his situation, but sometimes the biracial people, they don't know which side to really go on. Not saying that he is in that type of thing, but he was raised by the other side of his family. It wasn't like he was raised by the other side of the family.
But this is where I think Kendrick goes. Is this is where I think there's so many layers in this, because I feel like Drake, he could he knew a sound, right? Because when he first came out, he sounded way more like Lil Wayne than he does. Right. He's always evolved, right? And I think that's where I said he puts on that character. Tupac, he was popular, but his message was truly irreverent, truly of his time. He had a deeper message.
But he would go from I'm just doing pushback here.
Yeah.
He would go from Dear Mama to fuck you, you fat bloop. I fucked your bloop and kill everybody and boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And he'll go from one yo, I'm an activist and I love our people, to also exterminating our people.
Right.
So he kind of played that weird game too.
He did both.
Yeah, but I'm not
in a weird game of this, it's just that there was no true identity per se. Because think about it. If the real identity is really this, if I'm really an activist, why would I ever in life make a song that would ever say exterminate my brother? If I'm an activist.
Yeah.
And if I'm that other guy, why would I ever make a song to be an activist? Because I'm not an activist, so I want to exterminate my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
don't disagree. I don't disagree with that.
But
he was confused too, but he was young though. He also died when he was 25.
Yeah.
I also heard some other stuff that earlier on he didn't rap like that.
He's a thespian.
Yeah. So someone I can't think who it is. Take. Someone did a recent interview and they were saying from that period that Tupac, if you look at him in younger videos older videos when he was younger to where he was, you could see it was a big change of who he was. And people change, but they made a point to say that, they thought it was an act.
But I would say this. I would say that Tupac came from the streets. He didn't grow up in suburbia. He didn't grow up he wasn't a child actor.
He went to theater school.
He went to
theater school, but I'm saying he wasn't on Degrassi. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't
But he
went
to a
actor.
school, but
he wasn't Peel and Keel or whatever.
No, understandable. I understand what you're saying. I'm saying that maybe a Fortune. okay, we could say that is that maybe Pac wasn't a fortune, but if you really look at him and Drake, they're more similar than him and Kendrick.
I agree.
No, but you gotta see what I'm saying here. Drake and Tupac are way more similar than Tupac and Kendrick.
I'll say this: take away some of his music that he has, and look at the person and how they transition into the music. Right?
Yeah, I think that they all like transcended where they were. Like, right? Like he came in. Like if we go to Drake, Degrassi, actor, all the things, pop culture,
and his progression, even is his rapping, like where his absolute environment affected him. So when he's around Young Money, who he kind of was sounding like, he was around like Wayne them.
Yeah.
Then when he gets to other different, plateaus in his career, he gets to Atlanta, and that's why Kendrick knows that. He's watching it. He's playing it out in his diss song. He's like, oh, so you go to Atlanta when you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. But what I would say though, this is where I think, and this is the bigger point that I was trying to make, is that like Tupac came from the streets.
Yep.
Drake didn't come from the streets. And I think one of the layers in that, what Kendrick is speaking on, is that like you put this on as like a costume that you talk like you come from the streets.
Correct.
Like but this beef is.
I get what I get what
and that and like if we look at Tupac, he died like for street beef, whatever that is, right? So like I don't see that as a realistic outcome for Drake being from where he's at and like how he grew up. But I do see that can be a realistic outtake for Kendrick based on where he came from and all the things. Like,
well, I would say this.
Not like, even if we look at like the marathon and like all the shit, like I think that there's a possibility. I don't think it's the same possibility for Drake.
I would say this. One, look, Tupac his legacy cannot be erased, right? What he's done in music will never go away. So for those of you listening to this conversation, we are exploring aspects of this. Don't take it as 1-to-1.
Yeah. He died when he was 25, though.
Yeah. No, he did.
Like, these dudes probably got on when they was 25.
No.
And Drake was almost 40, and I didn't even realize that.
It's definitely not fair. But I will say this. Keep in mind, Tupac came from New York to West Coast.
Correct.
How he rapped, and from a New York standpoint, the West Coast was totally different.
Right.
Got to West Coast, then all of a sudden, he had a West Coast sound. I love Tupac. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
But Tupac's sound that he developed in the West Coast was not his original sound.
And I submit that to you guys. Like,
he used to be a dancer for Digital Underground.
Yes.
Right.
Now, was he rapping gangster shit then?
No.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me say one more thing. The other thing I would state is, right, his intersection with the streets, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't really come into play until he got to the West Coast and he started linking up with some of the people he started linking up with.
With the real street guys.
Yeah. So for me, I wouldn't say like I wouldn't like to Ash's point. I think Tupac to me is closer to Drake than he is to Kendrick.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Way closer to Drake than Kendrick. I don't he didn't grow up in the streets of Compton. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, like you heard his struggle through that. But I do think that's why he went so wide to a certain degree, because when he spoke from an activist standpoint, that appealed to everybody. Everyone could relate to it, right? I think when he spoke to some of the you know what I'm saying, I'll F your baby mama, woo, 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 all that stuff. I think that spoke to, you know what I'm saying, some of the back and forth beef and the drama between West Coast, East Coast.
It spoke to me as a teenager.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it spoke to some people too.
Young, right?
But I'm just saying, like, that's like, if you look at that, I would agree with Ash. I think, look, Drake is not Tupac. Don't get it twisted. But in the same regard,
He'll never be.
Yes, but in the same regard, if you look at the period of time and you look at how people dissected Tupac, they didn't really look at him as a lyricist at the time, because it was the argument of Biggie. If you really think about it, Biggie was Kendrick at the time.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Tupac was Drake at the time.
Now
when you really
talking,
think
Jay.
about it.
Now you could.
You know what I'm saying? Because people looked at Biggie's a lyricist, and they looked at Tupac. Oh, he's not really a lyricist.
He's not really a lyricist. He just is
and
but he
had
is.
More
you know what I'm
street
saying?
cred for sure. But I do think that like to an element that you brought up that I didn't go there, but like when you said it kind of sparked something in my mind is like being raised by a member of your family that's not like part of the culture necessarily, keeps you outside of it. I think that is one distinction between him and Tupac that doesn't like translate for me, is that like even when he was in New York and when he went to the West Coast, he was still in the culture and of the streets. I feel like
Black Panther raised and everything else, activists raised.
But are we saying Tupac was in the streets the same way as other? Like,
but I'm saying I'm not saying that he was in the street. He's not in the street like
he got
Biggie.
In the streets when he got with Death Row.
Right. This is what I'm saying though. It's like, but this is what I'm saying. Like Biggie, it holds down. Like to y'all point,
Biggie in the streets.
No, he
was in the streets, right? But
from what I know, at least.
From Drake to Tupac, they wasn't in the streets the same way. Like I'm never gonna say that.
How about this? This is what I say. Even to kind of pull it back, maybe from that comparison, I would say
they're almost the same though.
Well, yeah, it is really the same.
Because no. Tupac got in the streets when he got to the West Coast for real.
Are you hearing this?
I'm trying to tell you.
We are in the Matrix.
Okay, listen.
I'm getting realization.
It's quite different to grow up from the age of like 14 onwards, making, let's even just be generous or lowball this and say like $60,000 for like a season of Degrassi.
Okay, yeah.
That's totally different. It's a totally different experience, life experience.
Drake had
than to be coming up in New York.
I would take, Tupac. And I'm not saying Tupac grew up in a very rich a family that had a whole lot of money, but I wouldn't say that he grew up in a situation where he wasn't afforded.
He wasn't living on the streets. He wasn't living on.
I mean, he
wasn't having to selling. He wasn't have to probably like selling drugs on the corner just to make it happen in New York. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that.
Listen. He was in theater school.
Yes, that's what I'm saying next.
So what I'm saying is that clearly even him growing up, he wasn't doing that either.
Yeah,
he wasn't on the block. He wasn't doing all that shit.
Right.
So
at least what we know.
So now listen, I'm not trying to say about parents and net worth or anything. I'm saying that just in general, even no matter. Oh
no.
We gotta get another battery.
We cooking too, man.
We are cooking. This is a good one.
All right. Sorry about that. We had a technical difficulty. We back. Probably caught.
Yeah, we're back.
We was getting good too. Yeah. It was heating up so much that we took out.
I think it burnt the camera out.
Take them offline.
No. I guess I'll kick it back out again.
Yeah.
I think we're almost like living in this like weird paradigm of the same thing.
Yeah.
Of like, and look, rightfully so. I do see what you're saying about like how it goes like with, Tupac. He grew up kind of more inner city, more urban. Plus he grew up with melanated parents and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Drake grew up with one parent.
Tupac grew up with one parent.
Yeah, but it just wasn't melanated. So,
it was the same parent too. It was both mothers. Right?
Yeah, it was both mothers. Almost
single mothers.
Single mother.
Did Kendrick grow up? Was it father, mother, or parent household?
I don't really know Kendrick's story.
I don't know.
I can't say for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know Kendrick's story, but I could definitely tell you that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I love Kendrick. I think he is amazing. I think he is honestly one of the best rappers we've ever seen. But
he's nice.
But
amazing.
But here in this beef, me personally, I have a really hot take.
Let's go.
He wasn't into it.
No, I just think that Family Matters was cold-blooded. Drake took on the whole industry in one fucking song and went crazy. And you know what? It just got killed because, when Kendrick dropped, Not Like Us, it was just a rap. But I really do think that Drake was... How about this? Has Drake ran from a fade yet? He could have ran from Kendrick. He could have been like, you know what? I'm not finna bait, dude. Everybody know Kendrick can rap. He know Kendrick can rap. He been in the game. He been behind the scenes. But I really know Kendrick can rap.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's like for him to even be like, you know what? Fuck that. He's not running from the fade.
Yes, but I feel like Drake. Like, if we go back and talk about like the fact that that beef took over the whole summer. Actually, kind of the whole year.
Actually. It destroyed the year.
You think it destroyed
everything?
It destroyed everything.
It destroyed everything because there's no fun this whole year.
But let me tell you. Let me say this though. This is my hot take. Drake pulled this stuff on himself because Drake is the one who said out of his own mouth, it's like the big three and the this and the da-da-da-da-da. And then he opened himself up. Like,
is that fair?
No, it is fair.
Him and Cole and Kendrick are the big three?
No, I'm saying this is fair. He called that out. He called that out. And he opened himself up.
But that wasn't really a diss. He's saying, like, hey, all three of us are great.
He is saying that.
He's like, what the hell?
But what I'm
going to fight because of that? I'm sorry, I said you was great.
But then, like, when Drake's or when Kendrick is like, I hate the way that you talk, I hate the way that you walk, I hate the way that, you know, everything. And it's real because it's like, bro, like, you kind of this is the thing. It's like you kind of came out here and said we are the top, and it's like somebody who self-proclaimed that was never gonna go.
But
in any of this stuff, like I feel like Kendrick didn't come out and was like, I'm on top of all y'all and da 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 da. I'm separating myself from the rest. And I feel like what Kendrick is saying, he does say he gets it. He gets there
with Metro now. He did say,
but I don't think he starts there.
Y'all.
He does.
It's just Big Me.
No, he does, but I don't think he started there. I think that like Drake was the one who was saying like who was at the top. Like he pulled that into it. You know what I'm saying?
He addressed it. He said, "Hey, like people are always asking who's at the top." He said, "I think it's the big three," and then he names all three of them.
Mm-hmm. I know.
He's saying that like, "Hey, like we're all great in our own ways. We all add something." Then Kendrick said, "No, fuck that. It's just me."
Right.
So who's really the bully here?
No, Drake.
Nah, okay. I would back up and say this. I don't think Drake's the bully. But at the same time, I would say I definitely think Kendrick definitely won. I liked through it all as a listener and appreciator of music. I love what Kendrick killed it. Yeah. Full stop.
But family matters.
Glad you guys agree.
Let me say this.
No, but family matters.
What was the joint that Kendrick dropped?
Family Matters.
No, what was the joint that Kendrick dropped before Family or right after Family Matters?
Meet the Grams.
Meet the Grams. I thought that was fire. I thought that was fire. I thought that was fire.
But it was and like filled with lies too, though, because he doesn't have a daughter.
I know, but every man, come on, all beefs ain't really 100% true.
What I'm saying is, dog, like, go to Drake one. Drake took on the whole industry.
Listen, I'm about to speak to that. I'm about to speak to that because this. First off, it was a phenomenal beef. No matter what you say, it was a great beef.
The best I've ever seen.
It was a great beef. Like
and it was worth my summer. Honey.
It was very.
It really was.
It was very few beefs you could compare that to that degree. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I'm talking about
Jay-Z and Nas was memorable.
They didn't go that far.
They did.
This is something that where it was like, yo, they was going record for record.
Yeah, but
this is like
I agree.
Like watching like a boxing match.
I agree. Yeah. It was good. Okay, let me get to my main point. My main point is this: Kendrick jumped into the beef because the beef really didn't start with Kendrick. It started with Future and it started with Metro, with the album they pushed out, 2 albums they pushed out where they was coming at Drake. And there was a lot of people jumping into the shuffle. It was Rick Ross, I think, had something to say. It was a bunch of different people had something to say. So Kendrick really was the umpteenth person that jumped in. To that point, right? To Ash's point, what he said, Drake was really going against a bunch of rappers at once. So when you look at that, you can never fault this man and say this man ain't nice and he ain't great. Because he went against a bunch of rappers and still held his own. You know what I'm saying?
But this is what I was
saying. So, like, from that standpoint, Kendrick won, but from that standpoint,
he could have ducked that shit.
Yeah, bro. He could have did something totally different. And Kendrick technically inserted himself into it. I'm not saying Drake didn't mention him.
Hey, no, but look what they got Kendrick.
But Drake mentioning Kendrick wasn't like F you and you trash.
This is where I say there's layers to this because this is where I'm saying like there's so many different elements because Yasin Bey like has always said, what is Drake? You know, and this was like years ago before this beef. People were like, Drake. This was always an undercurrent. And this is what I'm saying. It was just like, this was the moment that this undercurrent that I think that people were thinking already.
I don't think so.
It played out.
I don't think so. Look, I think people may have felt like think people may have felt certain things over periods of time, but I think that was probably more industry than it was like fans and people who just enjoying the music.
No, this is what I'm saying.
I think enjoyment from music, I think people understood who was in what lane. People saw Kendrick as underground backpack type of rapper, you know what I'm saying, who blew up on the scene and became an icon, became a beacon, right? But he also was not that rapper that people saw in like the mainstream, even though he broke into mainstream, don't get it twisted.
Right.
But at the same time, what he represented was very much different than what Drake represented.
And this is what I said earlier.
But at the same time, it doesn't take away from each of their crafts.
No, I'm not saying
because both, and this was just giving them flowers for a second, both of them coming into the game, whenever you come in and change the game, you start seeing copycats. Kendrick had copycats, Drake had copycats. For the very reason what they brought into the game, it's not like they brought something that never existed, but they changed the narrative how people were approaching it, right? When Drake came in, everyone all of a sudden had that, slow filtered beat, you know what I'm saying? It really wasn't like a low pass filter, you know what I'm saying? But they had that slow beat, you know what I'm saying? That chill vibe, And then on top of that, they switched up their flow. And you can argue where he got his flow from, but we're not going to go there, right? Same thing with Kendrick. All of a sudden, you heard like a different cadence, a different style that was being done when he came in, right? So what I'm saying is, ultimately, they're both super nice artists. You can argue and say Drake is the bigger artist overall because his music is more wide, has a wider spread or appeals to a wider audience than what Kendrick does. And I love Kendrick stuff. Don't get it twisted. But in the same degree, if you really want to sit down and just be like a little more fair with it, Drake is a phenomenal artist. It's probably quite honestly a bigger artist than what Kendrick is. Like Michael Jackson and Prince is the same thing.
It came up. No comparison though.
It came up.
Drake would have done better at the halftime show.
Who would?
Yeah, I think
Drake.
I think overall, he would have done better.
He's a popular artist, and I think that when we talk about this,
Ashley, yes.
I think that one of the things that we have to say is like, I think from an intellectual space, I think Kendrick for me raises the bar. I think Drake from a popular space is where I go back to like on my side. I look at it like I always look at Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Like,
nah, I wouldn't say that. You doing this man wrong. You do this man dirty. Like Drake ain't no Taylor Swift. No, that's like saying Tupac is Taylor Swift. Come on now, like
no, it's not. But I feel like Drake is not on the same. For me, is not on the same level of like how he's like his music is hitting it from an intellectual standpoint. Now, Views, one of my favorite albums for sure. Vibes all the time, and I feel like we were driving down on doing road
Pound
trips.
Cake, yeah,
bro, everything.
Cake. Come on now.
Drake is fire, but I don't think that he's like coming out like this.
Say that again. Drake is what?
He's fire.
Let's go.
But I'm not saying that like his music is fire. Like if it's on, I know all the cuts. I'm gonna be singing along with it and all the things. But at the same time, I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to it for intellectual stimulation. I'm not like saying, oh man, this is deep and profound. Like Gloria was profound on Gen X.
Yeah, but like that's like saying like, look, I look at Drake as an all around fighter.
But this is what I'm
saying. And I look at
but,
Kendrick as a specialist.
But this is what I'm
like,
saying.
Like you can't sit here and say.
I think we're saying the same thing though. Is that like, you're saying that he is like, he has this lane. I'm saying he has this lane. My lane is saying that he's more wide appeal like Taylor Swift. Versus Beyonce.
See how she's doing it though? Like, she keeps saying this man Taylor Swift. That's crazy.
No.
And Taylor Swift is good.
No, this is what I'm saying. Y'all hate on Taylor Swift.
No,
she has mass appeal. But she has mass appeal. If you look at it though, but y'all, when we would talk about records, we talk about Beyonce, and y'all know that I'm a Beyonce stan. But what I will tell you though, like in her tour, and she went to more places, but like Taylor Swift generated more money. Why? Because there's a crossover appeal that goes deeper and wider.
I feel like look, I ain't gonna cross into that. But I feel like I would say this. I think they're two different things.
They're two different things. This is what I'm saying.
I think Drake and Taylor Swift are two different things. I get what you're trying to say, but I don't think what that represents outwardly is the exact same thing. I don't think it's the same
thing. Trying to say that Taylor Swift is like, you trying to say that Drake?
See, no. I ain't trying to say nothing you trying to say.
I think that
I know what you be doing.
I know. And I like Taylor Swift. This is what I'm saying. It's like, but am I saying
Drake
she
cut you on the kneecap?
Absolutely not. She
no.
is not.
Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick is everything you said. Kendrick is everything they think Drake is. If you really look deep. Now,
Kendrick is everything that they think Drake is?
Kendrick is. You see, listen. Kendrick literally has what? All of the Grammy wins, all of the hit songs, everything. We're acting like Kendrick's some underground artist. Like, let's stop this shit. No. He is not an underground artist. This man a mainstream act too. He's just like that.
But this is
that's why when Drake get on the record and say, yo, when Top tell you to go do something for the Swifties, who has songs with these people?
He do.
Kendrick.
He do, but
I'm just saying, we always want to put Kendrick under this blanket of like, yo, he's like something different than Drake, and he's not.
I think where you can make the distinction is the art they create and how they go about it.
But now he's taking.
I'm
fighting on this side. I say, look, now he's taking that, and then now he's fighting the same thing that he is to become even bigger.
No, listen, I don't disagree with you in this regard. Kendrick is a mainstream artist who does.
He's already mainstream.
I say he is. Yeah. He is a mainstream artist that have been for quite some time, for a long.
Since he dropped his first project.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Exactly.
So it was Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah,
10,000%. Right. Like, not even knocking that at all. But I think the only distinction that we can make in this conversation is the type of music he makes appeals to a certain audience. Now, I will say this. If you look at it, he might have figured something out, because you said something earlier that I agree with. If he did not jump in this beef, would he have made a great album? Yes. Would it have had as much commercial success as it had now? No.
What are we doing?
And it has nothing against what he creates and how big of an artist he is from a general standpoint. It just speaks to his music, like you said before, typically does not hit as wide as Drake does.
But when he wants to, he can, though.
This is what I'm saying, though. I don't think it's because he doesn't. He can't. I think it's because he doesn't want to.
There it is.
And I think
I agree with that.
And I agree with that too. I think he holds it in a different space, in a different reverence to himself, the music, than
I don't know if it's all that. Like,
I do think he's. I think he takes him.
So he's okay with belittling another act in the hip hop lane. I understand that he's, I guess, biracial, but still, belittling him. No, I'm just saying. Yeah. No, I'm just saying. Like, if you want to go back to like the true essence of the core beliefs, allegedly, of his music, where does it really get you to belittle another one of us on the biggest stage on earth?
No,
I think that's always part of hip hop.
If that's really who you are.
But no, I don't think
all I got to say. If that's really who you are.
No, I don't think
he's ever said. If that's not who you are, cool.
I don't think he's ever said like, oh, I'm
just like
here.
Everybody else. That's cool.
But I don't think he's ever said like,
actually,
okay,
just like everybody
I'm here
else.
And like, we're not going to have beefs, and I'm not going to talk about people, and I'm not going to talk out the side of my neck. I don't think he's ever said that and said like, oh, rap is so holy that I can only do this. But I do think he's I think that Drake was low-hanging fruit for him, and I think he knew he could like ice him out from the beginning, and I think he did that. But I don't think that Drake was like, oh man, like Kendrick is so tough, I can't compete. I think that Drake, they weren't fighting the same battle. Like there was like a different.
Well, that's because Drake was literally going against he's going against a ton of rappers. You said 12. He was going against
more than that.
He was going against a ton of rappers at the time. When you look at the time frame, you really map it out. Kendrick was not
a hot producer and everything else. Shit.
Kendrick was not the first to enter the fray. You know what I'm saying? He was the last. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe not technically. I'm sure someone else jumped in too. But he was the one that had the biggest punch, but he was definitely not the first. So if you really want to look at it, Drake was going against a bunch of different people, so that's why the lens felt different. right? Where Kendrick was coming with a scalpel, Drake was coming with a Uzi. You know what I'm saying? He was spreading it to everybody. A little bit here, a little bit there. Look at Family Matters. He was really talking to multiple different fronts. You know what I'm saying?
And then one zeroed in on him. And all I'm saying is that guy that zeroed in on him.
No, they all zeroed in on him.
Yeah, they zeroed in on him. But I'm saying, one person with the scalpel who kind of cut close was like, yo, like, I see you and I got you in my sights and I'm about to take you out. And like, he took him out. And when you're gunning down everybody and you have somebody who's directly focused on you while everybody else is focused and you can handle them, and like, you're like Captain America, we can do any of the Marvel, anybody, and you're taking down all these people and you're trying to fight. And then one person is like, man, I know I can take you and I'm about to go at you. I'm going to give you everything I got and I got an arsenal while other people are coming at you too. Bro, that's what happened. And then he was outgunned from a lot of different levels. But then there's a lot of pieces.
Yeah, but he was outgunned while facing meaning people with good.
By a lot of different levels.
No, by a lot of different levels. Because this is
different levels, because it ain't just the rappers who was out for Drake. But let's go.
Yeah, he was out for Drake. But this is
I said it's more than rappers.
Yeah, he says more to it than that.
Yes, but this
the
is
whole
the other
industry.
thing.
You could almost say the whole industry turned on him.
But then this is the other two things I'll have to say that made it like, if Drake was like, this where it went left for Drake, I would say, is like, one thing I learned at the Super Bowl that I wasn't even paying attention to was like the whole pedophile thing. I thought it was cutesy in the raps and the bop 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 bop. Didn't realize that it had some real life implications of him talking to younger women. Never knew that, and that was something learning for me.
But I wouldn't go too deep into that, because
people
like
went really deep into that with the Super Bowl, which shocked
me. No,
he
had the little A. You know what I'm saying? Chain on.
No. I'm not talking about just on the thing. But people talked about like they pull records and receipts of the people that they was talking about. He was talking to and this and that, and they were coming out saying, yeah, like he was talking to me young.
Also
I take that as a grain of salt.
Well, exactly, because the other grain of salt would be is that the same allegations that you're talking about are legitimately being filed against TDE, which is the record label that actually owns Kendrick.
So like, I take all of that. Like,
this is what I'm saying. Like, this was like different levels. This is what I'm saying, levels. And then the other level that I was like, kind of like, okay, wait a minute, is like when he sued, like, and I was like, that was.
Yeah, he should have did that. But I mean,
that was last.
He's trying to stop the damn Super Bowl.
I know.
Man, do you want everybody to fucking
this is before in the
pause?
summer.
Look,
the pause and be like this. Hey,
look. Here's my thing.
When he sued.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing.
That's when you knew that he didn't. That's when he like it kind of felt it fit what Kendrick was saying. Like, you're not like us because nobody sued her rap beef.
Yo,
like, you didn't see Biggie, like, they was going to guns.
But first off, I'm happy they didn't go to guns.
Way better. I don't even know
I'm happy they didn't go to guns.
Is this going to make the outtakes because this is so
let me say this. I'm happy it didn't go to guns. I think we're all happy it didn't go to guns.
No violence.
Right.
But I'm saying, like,
let me say this.
We'd all be sad if either one of them were gone.
Yes.
Bro, we would never want that.
Yes.
At any place, any continuum, nothing.
Like, for Drake, I will say this. The only thing, me looking at the camera, the only thing where I was like, dang, man, was when, because look, I was appreciating the back and forth from both sides. And I can appreciate and I can give both sides merits, strong merits for certain things that we've all spoken to. But when Drake did the suing, I was like, man, look, I could understand a little bit of what he was saying, but look, it's still rap beef. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to take the L and kind of move on and let things die down and then attack it a different way. I'm not saying the whole industry wasn't after him. I'm not stating that, because something definitely was going on, because it was like 15, 20 rappers that was going against him. Doesn't make him out to be a saint. But I'm not gonna pretend like the other rappers on the other side were saints too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just like getting to like strong politics. That's like pretending like both sides is pure goodness.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying this to say I was definitely disappointed. I'd be lying to say I wasn't disappointed when I saw him sue, and I was like, dang, bro, that's just not it. You know what I'm saying? I get it, but that's just not it. Because historically, you look at other rap beefs, all the stuff that came up has come up before in rap beefs. ain't like from that general perspective outside of like 13 rappers rapping against Drake. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing really different.
The animosity has been there in other beefs, and I just think that it kind of fit to what Kendrick was saying. Like, you're not like us. Like,
yo, you'll say that again. I'm dead. Yo, I'm dead.
Like,
she cutting this man knees every time.
Y'all talks about like, no, I'm saying like, I'm not talking about like skin color, nothing like that. I don't think that matters. But I'm saying like,
I mean not.
When you come into a beef like that and then you take it there, it just seemed like, bro, like it's not one of those things. It's not one of that time. It's not that
Can
time.
I push back?
Go ahead.
Okay, my pushback would be this, is that, okay, Universal, the same machine actually that built him, okay? It's the same machine that is pushing the resistance against him. People didn't understand
conflict of interest.
Well, it's a deeper business interest. Is that he was fulfilling a deal where he was going to be able to re-up. Everybody knows Drake got like 450 million. So God knows, might be able to re-up from almost a bill. Like in this next re-up situation with them. All of a sudden, the whole industry weaponizes against me. And we already know that, listen, I can make a Drake song. I'm sorry, I can make a diss song about Drake right now. Nobody's going to hear it. Now, every song that's bad about me has audience. And he understands the precipice of how that is actually built. He knows the machine makes that happen.
Right.
Meaning that he's like, they are doing it's not
They're
even
orchestrating it.
Correct. It's not even really more even at Kendrick, really. It's more like, yo, he didn't sue Kendrick, he sued UMG. Because he's looking at them like, yo, y'all are trying to destroy me because y'all gotta re-up with me.
But keep in mind, if we go back, compare this to Tupac and Biggie.
In business, does this happen? April, does this happen?
1,000%.
Okay,
but it's also kind of like the cost of business, right? Because if you look,
it is the cost of business for sure.
Because okay, and I think this is a good segue into another topic. If we jumping in just music.
Well, let me say one thing. If you look at it, you said something before compared to, and I said it too. Tupac and Biggie. You look at like the East Coast versus West Coast. That was turned up 10,000% by who?
Business.
Industry.
Propaganda.
100%.
Exactly.
And this is where I would turn the topic to. Is
they
like
just didn't sue at the time.
Algorithms. Like,
well, they were in position.
They weren't.
They were 25.
They weren't.
Imagine them when they 37.
Yeah.
And if they have almost $1 billion in gross revenue.
Okay, let me ask this.
They're different.
Let me ask this. What would Jay-Z do right now?
What does he do?
I'm just asking, like, what does he do?
But
what does he do? Don't get me started on him.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking about this from now, like, to your point.
What does he do?
You as you get older, you have different options. You got a lot more money at your disposal. You have different options.
Smarter. You understand the business. Yeah. You're like, yo, this is unfair. This is tampering. You start to understand the game. You're like, yo, you can't do that. I'm trying to re-up on my deal. You guys are sabotaging it. That is sabotage.
Right. Yeah. But I would also say that.
But he still should have took the L move though.
Yeah.
He did take the L. But he know he lost. He was suing them. He never sued Kendrick.
Ash, I don't disagree with what you said.
He could have sued Kendrick for defamation.
Ash, I don't.
He could have sued him directly.
Ash, I don't disagree.
Kendrick rich.
Ash, I don't disagree with you. If he did that, that would have been.
He could have sued.
That would have been super lame.
Hey,
super lame, bro.
Hey, he should have sued Timmy E.
He sued somebody he was in a beef with. You are not like us.
For defamation.
You are not like us.
If he would have did that, I would have been dying, bro. No.
He could have sued TDE.
No, but listen. Before we go,
he didn't.
But listen. I listen to y'all. Let me have a point. Let me say this.
I'm just saying that's true. Like, if I have a lawsuit, can y'all tell me that you guys are?
Yeah.
If I have a lawsuit. Can I take my lawsuit to you guys? Or can I take it to the above?
Imagine if he sued for defamation. Come on, bro.
This is crazy.
How much respect? How much respect would you have for me for defamation?
But this is what I want to go.
What did I do to you?
But this is where I want to go.
Did I destroy your character? Did I call you a pedophile? Like what the fuck?
No, but still, bro, it's a rap beef.
I'm gonna go.
Come on,
back.
that's like Nas suing Jay-Z.
Am I on
listen.
Super Bowl stage saying?
I'm gonna go back to my point. I'm gonna go back to my point.
What song do you say? Family Matters. He said
I'm
some
gonna
stuff
go back
in
to
there
my
too.
point
Yeah,
on
but they
Taylor
on
Swift.
Super Bowl.
I'm gonna go back to my point on Taylor Swift.
The world ain't hearing that shit.
Jake's one of the biggest artists of all time.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna leave y'all on that
shit.
point,
You know
and I'm gonna go back to my point on Taylor Swift and
right.
say this: that like
she trying to cut him again.
No, this is where I'm gonna go back. Drake and Taylor Swift both relied on an exuberance of airplay and all of that stuff.
Correct.
This and if you look
what's
at it,
happening now with Kendrick?
This is exactly.
He's getting their
this
treatment.
is what I'm saying.
That's why Drake's suing.
It's like sometimes it's up,
like,
sometimes it's down, and this is
so
what
you
I'm
agree
saying.
with him suing?
This is my yes.
Oh my god,
absolutely.
But this is where we're all different.
They're trying
too.
to destroy him.
No.
I'm not
trying to make it so he can't get.
I don't.
Money.
First off, I don't disagree that they're not trying to destroy him, but it's a lose-lose situation for him.
How? He already lost.
No.
In a public eye, he already lost.
It's a lose.
But
now
he's
I'm protecting
also
now I'm protecting my assets.
But this isn't
look, I've already lost public opinion.
No, let me
now I'm protecting my assets.
No. Because listen,
How?
he's had an upswing.
I lost public opinion.
I'm sorry.
Everybody
April.
thinks Kendrick won.
I'm sorry, April. Okay, let's say he wins. What then?
I can't even make my
What
point.
to what? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, April.
I want to say this point before y'all go deeper on that. I want to say this: is that he benefited from an upswing, and who knows if other people weren't sabotaged on his upswing, where he had all of the mic and he had all of the air and he had all of the things.
Kendrick never was.
We don't know that. We don't know who was.
No, they did the same thing for him. They did the same thing for him that they're doing for Kendrick. Don't get it twisted.
No.
Yeah,
they definitely did.
This is what I'm saying.
They did the same thing for him.
Meek Mill,
I got lawsuit too.
This is what I'm saying.
You can't get mad about that.
This is what I'm saying. And before Kendrick, Drake was up against somebody else.
Meek Mill.
Earlier.
Meek Mill.
Yeah, Meek Mill. So this is my point
and
is
shut that man down.
They shut him down. And listen, we all know he calls somebody else daddy, all the things. But
Dang.
but
hot take April.
Hot take. Sorry. But
she said everybody can get it.
Everybody can get it. But this is the point. Is that people all they all laughs and giggles when you get it on the upswing. And everybody all upset on the downswing. And this is what I'm saying, Taylor Swift, and I like Taylor Swift. I think she's dope. But I'm saying, listen, there was some kind of coordination in how her popularity, and it wasn't just a fluke and this is just we're putting this little drop in the bucket and to see how wide it spreads. And no. There was coordination in this, and there was a massive, for every artist, whether it was Michael Jackson, whether it was Prince, there was a machine behind it that gave them and created this space.
Agreed.
So you can't get upset when you get that space, because it didn't come for free and it didn't come out of nowhere, and it wasn't just your pure talent that led to it. So you can't get mad on the downswing when it happens. And this is where I'm saying you can't sue somebody on the downswing when you benefited from it on the upswing.
You can sue. It just
you
makes,
can, but I'm saying obviously you can't.
It doesn't come across as
it's still
sincere.
A free country, so
you know what I'm saying, or it comes across a little more disconnected, because it's the machine is taking you down as the same machine that built you up.
Absolutely right.
Well, that's what we were talking about before. But
and y'all keep thinking I'm trying to throw shade
Let me ask you this.
at Taylor Swift and stuff, but I'm just saying it's the same thing.
Right.
It's if we mirror it. It's the same
Can I ask
thing.
my question now?
Go ahead.
Ash, if he does win, what then?
He gets it. Well, he's already winning right now. I'm gonna tell you why. I don't know if anybody's.
No, he wins the lawsuit.
No. I'm saying if you're not paying attention right now, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of update.
He released
right
an
now.
album.
He is literally out of his deal. So now Universal has to re-up. Now, at that point, lawyers can always withdraw.
Or he goes by himself.
Claims. No, what I'm saying is that, he's up. He got out of his deal. That's all what he wanted. He got out because they were trying to not count certain certain albums as a part of his situation.
Yeah.
He did that shit. Boom. His legal team actually... I mean, they kind of won in this regard. Is that
I might say he got
out of his deal. So now he's out of his deal. So then now he has to get re-up because trust me, they're not going to allow artists with the polarity that Drake has to just sit here without a parent.
Listen, okay, look. Hold on.
Some other ones have him.
Hold on. Let me say this.
He's gonna re-up for the money he always wanted. He's gonna get the probably 800 million. We'll hear about it. 800 million, almost $1 billion deal.
And I think it's bad for him though.
He may, but I was.
And he'll be like, yeah, not like us. He'll be dancing on some money and shit.
I would say this.
He'll like play it.
He may. I think what's gonna happen is he's gonna drop a couple of projects independent for a reason.
I'm not gonna allow him to. He's too popular.
No, look. I'm not gonna say
show too much proof for concept.
No. I think if I was him, I would do it on purpose. And the reason why is
he's been trying to, but they haven't allowed him to keep pulling his music because of the ownership.
Yeah.
Now, if he does it right now, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna strike a deal.
Look.
Mark my words.
Look,
he's too popular.
I know what they're gonna do. But the point is, if he drops it, it gives him more leverage. You know what I'm saying? In this situation. Because if he does drop it, they're gonna see what's gonna happen. People are gonna listen. We already know what's gonna happen. He's too big at this point. Ain't like you like, he doesn't exist.
An album on the 14th?
He did.
Well, that was the last thing, and that fulfilled the requirement.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wanted to make sure that fulfilled the requirement.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think he's in a good space. He's like a free agent.
But you still didn't answer my question.
What's up? What's the question?
The question was, if he does win the lawsuit, again, I know he's not in a bad situation. I'm not saying that.
He good.
But if he did win the lawsuit, what would he like? Because you said, "Hey, look, no, he should do that." But what does he really get out of it? Outside of like, I think the deal. Well, I think that was going to happen regardless.
Okay. Well, how about this? No, I don't think the deal would happen regardless. I think that everything's been kind of concentrated to kind of stop the deal from happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think that at this point, I think his lawsuit was really put in place to stop the Super Bowl, stop Grammys, but it didn't stop it. So at this point, to win the lawsuit, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm already Swiss cheese in it.
He's going with the lawsuit still.
Right. I'm saying I'm already Swiss cheese, so I might as well get what is owed to me too. People already think I'm a bitch and this and this.
Okay.
And I'm a minor and all this bullshit. Like I might as well just go get my money.
I don't think he'll win the lawsuit, but
I think that.
And not for the reason that
he will force their hand to do something because he can expose everything they do. He
ain't gonna do that. He ain't gonna do that.
I'm saying with the lawsuit, he already is. Discovery. Dude, you don't want to start pulling receipts of like DJs and program directors listen to me. Yeah. From across the country.
Yeah.
That exposes the whole music industry. They're going to pay him before that.
Okay, let me say this though. I think
Discovery is not going to happen.
Okay, but I think Discovery will be messy anyways because they're going to pull the same.
I tell you, they're going to fucking pay him. They're going to
wait. They're going to pull the same Discovery would implicate him as well because if they did do it against him,
how can they do it? How could it implicate him?
If they did do it against them,
he'll be like, "Yo, I was unaware. Y'all was my parent label."
Hold on. If they did do it against him, I didn't do it. They did it for him, right?
But I was unaware.
That could be his defense.
It blows.
That could be his defense.
It's like this. It blows the industry up. So meaning that at that point, no, we're not going to allow it to happen because it's like removing all the lights, cameras, action, the smoke and mirrors from Hollywood. It's a wrap.
Yeah. Well, it's happened in other industries. It's happened in other ones.
I would say that.
Well, that's why Drake standing on it. He's like, fuck it, I don't care. So y'all destroy me, I'll destroy y'all. He's like, I'll die about it. He might be on that. So you don't know.
I think it would definitely. I think he has a tough, like, a barrier to get over, and I think that is like to prove that they intentionally did this.
Yeah.
On this wide scale thing, like there was all in coordination, which we believe it probably
Kendrick
was.
Legit swept the Grammys, and then went straight from that to doing it at the Super Bowl off of a diss song. All of the great music that man has ever put out.
But then think about
all of the great stuff he's ever put out.
But think about how the decisions may be made, though. Like, listen,
I don't think he'd be able to prove
Grammys is a popularity contest.
Not because the information doesn't exist, I don't think he'd be able to prove it in court.
Yeah, I don't think it. But like,
if that was the case, it wouldn't be nothing.
No, it's not.
Well, they wouldn't be trying to destroy him then if it ain't.
No. I think they were trying. I think that definitely probably more than likely happened. But I think the lawsuit didn't stop him from saying, "Oh, now we're scared of the boots." I think all the lawsuit, because you could tell from the response.
Just give him the money.
No. You could tell from the response. They was like, "Okay, yeah, cool," but like.
Yeah, but I think that like
buddies. What did he say? He said in response, they drafted up like a letter or something like that in response. The remarks when he pushed out the lawsuit.
Yeah,
they drafted out the response, and it was something like yeah, we support, like they said something to the nature. I don't remember the exact one. They support both artists, and like, and the reality is like this is rap beef. Like they said something to the point of they didn't feel like they felt like. This was a pointless thing to prove because this is rap beef, and this is what goes on. This is what happens, right?
I think that the other thing about this is like there's other things that conflate in this and layer onto it. And one of the things is that by sheer popularity, just with the rap beef happening, we could not deny who won the rap battle, right? And so in that essence, that is going to increase the popularity of Kendrick because everybo's take was that he won.
Not necessarily. Just because someone wins a rap battle don't mean they get popular.
No. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like within the industry and the people who were going to make the decision, it was a huge thing. It was on the news. Like, what's his name? Like, well,
who controls the news? Who controls the blogs? Who controls
this
everything?
Is where I'm going. And it's like, this was like, it had spiked the algorithm.
Who controls the algorithm?
Exactly, a few people, very few people.
Who controls Spotify? Who controls Apple Music? Who controls all of these things?
But this is
actually make the artist a household name.
Which goes to another topic that we could discuss.
Tech companies.
We don't have time.
Who tech companies partner with?
But if you look at like
they're a minor partner.
Who's won album of the year and all of these things.
The tech companies don't care about the reason beef. They just like whatever.
Y'all not even listening. I'm sitting here talking to myself.
No. I was commenting some of the stuff people said.
No, I'm saying, but like if we even go back to another topic that happened this year too, it was like the album of the year and all this stuff. How are these people picked? And how come it always goes to the most popular person at the moment of like...
It's never popular. Sometimes.
It's not popular, but it's a popular among a group of people.
Correct. This is where control the whole...
This is where I'm going. Yep. And so like that spike led to these decisions being made based on that spike is clearly you can see it as a layperson and not being in the industry. You could understand that. So he swept the Grammys, of course, because those same people are in control. And then... he was on Super Bowl because there was a person who had the choice to pick who was on Super Bowl.
And he hates Drake, by the way. Let's preface it. The guy who picks the...
And I'm not going to say that because I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. So...
But he hates Drake as well. So, yeah.
I have no idea. But amazing. I will say that like there was a preference, right? And there was an opportunity, but because Drake could have been offered Super Bowl to your point.
He was not going to be offered a Super Bowl. He was not going to be offered Super Bowl.
Exactly.
No. He was not going to be offered Super Bowl.
Was he even brought out for the whole hip hop, 50 years of hip hop?
Okay, no. No. Look, here's the thing, because we got to wrap this. This is a good conversation. Nonetheless, this is an extremely good conversation. I will say...
This doesn't even go how I thought it was going to go. I thought we were going to talk about other topics.
Me too.
But that's what happens. We start musing, man. He kept going. It got good.
It got good.
People start sticking to their sides. Like, nah, bro.
And it's always
Taylor
funny.
Swift is Drake out here in these streets.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
On the same page.
Good gosh. But this is good. What's our closing remarks?
Oh my God. We're really here. I would just say that Drake and Kendrick are both great.
Of course.
A fan of both. I think both have hit songs, hit records, have had major influence over the last like 15 years of music for sure. But I would definitely say that it was a little bit weird that, how it kind of played out and how Kendrick is kind of like leaning on a song if he's supposed to be so pro us. Against another one of us, allegedly, right? So therefore, at the end of the day, I just call it all bullshit. I think it's all WWE. I love music though still, and I love y'all. So
okay, I'll go next. I'll let April get the final take. I would say I enjoyed the show, the beef back and forth. I think the showmanship of it was chef kiss. And yeah, I think everything that's playing out right now, some of it has more to do with business than it has to do with the music, right? And ultimately, I think both sides will be okay. Ultimately,
they're all gonna be great.
So I'm not really too worried per se about anything. I think with time this will die down like any other beef, and things will move on as it should. But I'm sad for my Chiefs.
I forgot about the Chiefs.
Throughout all of this, the Chiefs became the most minor aspect of this conversation.
Bro, I felt kind of sad for Mahomes a little bit, but and
he played like shit though.
So I wanted Jalen to win, but like I know he was super. I knew he thought it was in the bag, honey. I would say my last take is that I think that Kendrick is my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Album Gen X fire. I think I like Drake. Obviously, grew up on Drake. Drake is fire too, but I don't think he won the battle. And to y'all points, like there's probably an undercurrent of things that were contributing factors to that. And I think that what I loved most about the halftime show was that he dealt with all the stuff head on. Like, I think that was fascinating too, that we didn't even get a chance to talk about, but like he didn't shy away from it. And he obviously could have to be like more PC, and he just went for it. And if you're going to go for it, you got to go for it. And he did. And I think that it doubled down the support from the culture.
Agree.
I feel like it kind of catapulted him for what he has coming up next, like his tour and all these things. Like it kind of pushed him forward.
Good for him.
I think he had nothing to lose.
But I don't think that, like, my last final take is that I don't think that Drake lost anything in the end. Because even though this feels like a knockout right now, baby, in 6 months, nobody's going to remember. Like, people are going to remember, but people are not going to be tripping about it. And Drake can still recover. I don't think that, like, it was like a knockout blow where his career is ever going to be impacted.
No, yeah.
So
the man's been on top for 20 years.
Yeah.
Even if he does fall, it doesn't matter. He's okay.
I don't even think it was really a knockout punch. It was just he won the battle. Like some person won the battle. Cool. I'm just saying, like a couple months from now, things are look. Prior rap battles have ended people's careers.
Yeah,
and some of it you can call was because of the undercurrents of the industry. Other parts of it, you could say it was just someone fell for the okie doke within the battle, and they sunned themselves, right, and how they responded.
And I think as long as they don't take it too personal, either side, because they all have to know they're part of the machine, right? They signed up for it.
I don't think either one of them was taking it too personal.
Yeah.
Hey, what April said, like straight up.
Don't take
what
it
you
too
just
personal.
said was really.
Hey, yo, low key, you think someone's sitting back saying, "Yo, like they back behind the scenes somewhere"? Drake and Kendrick sitting down, they like, "Yo, so what did you think of my performance?"
No, they hate each other.
I think Drake is a little salty.
No, they legit don't like each other.
And I think Kendrick is smiling in this moment, but I think it all washes itself out.
I think everybody has money. I think they're fine. They all go back to their multi-million-dollar homes with their families there, and they,
You think they'll be friends in the future?
Never.
Yeah.
You didn't think about most people didn't think about Nas and Jay-Z.
I think they will be.
They'll never be friends.
We'll see.
I think they'll tour again.
They'll never be friends.
I think it'll be
they weren't friends back
together.
when they were supposed to be friends. Just think about it like that.
I know.
When they're supposed to be friends, that's the reason. That's how this shit really started.
I don't know if both people knew that.
In 2011. No. One person didn't know, but I'm trying to say, but now he know. Trust me, it's all good.
No, because listen, I went back.
Like, hey, it's cool.
I went back and watched some interviews with Drake, and I was like, and he was going in on Kendrick.
Yeah,
he actually had some there was a little bit of venom behind some of those words.
They didn't like each other. They never did. So it is what it is. And honestly, to be real, and also fans, before we leave,
we missed y'all.
So much.
Let's go.
But I could definitely tell you this is that just because you think people don't like you, that don't mean they're gonna like you, and vice versa. So just do what you need to do in your own life. Don't even worry about it.
And this stuff ain't that deep for us, man.
It's not.
What?
Yeah,
rap beef.
Well, just the whole thing. Because we're talking different sides, but
that's why we're over here smiling. Hey, everybody start fighting.
No, not for us. Well, not specifically for us. I'm just talking about in general for people, man. If you out here really up in arms about this, man, go drink some coffee.
Man, you better go get some money.
Sit down.
Like, fuck that. Jay being nice.
Man.
Go get some money. Put that energy where it should be used.
Yeah, check on you.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, check on your significant other. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have one, focus on that. But, anyways, I said I was not gonna have to find a word. Hey, what's up?
No, and no disrespect, no tea, no shade to any of the artists we talked about tonight. Love Taylor Swift, love Beyonce.
By the way, all those artists, I'm a music producer. I work with all of y'all. I don't care. Right. I don't care about no beef. I work with every last person discussed on the whole podcast.
I'm like Drake, fire, Kendrick, a little bit more fire, if you know what I mean.
Listen, I think it would be remiss if we sat here and tried to have the discussion while trying to be politically correct. Like, everyone has an opinion, you know what I mean? We're just stating what our thoughts are. It is what it is. It's not that deep for us where we're super ingrained on either side. Kendrick ain't paying for my house notes, and neither is Drake. You know what I'm saying? So I have nothing against either.
But I fuck with y'all both, honestly. Yeah, I love both you guys' songs. Like, I love all their both catalogs.
No, I think they both, and I'm not just saying that to be correct. I think they both fire. Just so facts. Like, to me, I was happy to watch it all. You know what I'm saying? I know some people may feel sad.
Having popcorn. We was sitting chilling.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, man,
all the beefs. I think it definitely raised the pros, right? Like, it raised the skills.
Yeah.
Like, it put it on okay, can you even compete? Like, can y'all even? Is there somebody else in the arena can compete with these two masterclass?
I don't think so.
Level. I mean, I think there's people who can compete. Like that's a whole other.
That's all.
But when you mesh the popularity with your skill, it's just kind of like
No. But I think it's so interesting. I think we could have another whole take on the whole bit of popularity.
I think we have a take on. We can talk for probably.
Yeah, we can muse for 20 days on this. Like, we can keep going and going and going to be like, all right,
reunited, and it feels so good.
Yeah. All right. So.
And it's taking us out.
Okay, let's go. Okay, I don't know what that was, but
what happened?
It was
the balloons. Okay, let's go.
The balloons, the MacBook balloons. You know how they have those extra features where they a thumbs up? You'll see
yeah. Okay.
Of course, it doesn't do it.
Okay.
I did it when I started singing.
So we're gonna wrap here. We appreciate you all, and we'll catch you next time on another episode. We out. Let's go.
Shut up, MacBook.